cross is getting bigger.
The ground's moving. Look at that.
The tree's going.
Whoa, there it
The
goes.
whole fence is sliding in.
It's not for nothing they say it's better to see something interesting and extraordinary once with your own eyes than to hear about it 100 times. What you see immediately removes questions, while stories often raise doubts. In this video compilation, we have gathered footage that will help you enjoy not only aesthetic pleasure, but also learn something new about our world. Enjoy watching. A real madman. Watching this, the adrenaline goes through the roof, even through the screen. A column of ash several meters high appeared above the active Mount Fuji volcano in Japan. This is Dubai, looking like a city from a fantasy movie, floating above the clouds. With a view like this from the office window, you'll want to come in every day. In Alaska, there is a special day when people throw old cars off a cliff. Okay, it's just the angle. In reality, the distance was several kilometers. It flies like an arrow, leaving behind only a cloud of dust. It seems the laws of physics simply do not exist for it. It seems as if the water froze in motion and turned into a vast field of glass crystals. White toxic foam often covers the river in India due to household sewage and industrial waste. The frozen Mirror Lake in the USA has some kind of extraterrestrial pattern. Not the best day for skiing, one of those times when it's better to stay in the hotel and not take risks. And outside the window at that moment, something incredible was happening. Huge waves completely blocked the view, creating the feeling that the ship was underwater.
Wow.
And one spark is enough for this house to blaze up like a match. Let's admit, they have an extremely interesting job. In China, fireworks are launched even during the day. Mechazilla has caught the Super Heavy booster. This is a historic moment for SpaceX. Did you know that throwing rocks into water is a real profession? In fact, it's complex work to clear slopes. Just look at the scale. Nature can be both beautiful and dangerous at the same time. Water discharge in winter looks incredible. The construction project of the century in Texas does not stop for a single minute. SpaceX is transporting a massive foundation for a new launch pad. The scale of the structure is astonishing. Ordinary people look tiny against the backdrop of this steel giant. One can also get used to height, but the process depends on individual human characteristics. Large airports always have a big fleet of snow removal equipment. Dozens of hungry predators surrounded a lone vehicle in the middle of an icy desert. One wrong move, and this trip will be the last for the passengers. And he does it! A full backflip. Incredible!
Whoa! There we go.
Now we already want to watch this movie on the big screen. This is a glass pipe and fire flows through it. It enters a horizontal pipe that runs across the entire room, heating it. Watch how the gates open. A massive torrent of water rushes down the concrete chute, gathering breakneck speed. If the ice were a bit thicker, this car with compressed air would no longer help. With this level of professionalism, a contract with Red Bull is only a matter of time. It's quite possible that the main impressions from the slide are experienced by the spectators opposite. Engineers decided to conduct an experiment and find out what will happen if a train crashes into their empty car. A dazzling descent. These mirror suits turn an ordinary ride into a real show, reflecting every ray of sunlight on the slope. And at this table, not only snacks are served, but also spectacles. Right in the center, a ring of red roses and candles, a graceful performance unfolds.
And we're moving on at the speed of light. All the most interesting things are still ahead.
An amazing movement in aviation against the backdrop of a huge moon, but everyone flies safely. Sometimes the most ordinary evening can end with an unexpected show right in the sky.
Oh my God! That's fine. Come on. Hey, Yogi.
A burst of fire so strong that it briefly turns night into bright day. Someone is having fun with tongs, while someone is fighting for their life. It was the Frenchman Louis Pasteur who proved that yeast are living organisms. One can watch the fermentation of Vietnamese rice forever. This could be mistaken for an eye, but sea urchins do not have them. Impressive footage from the demolition of an old bridge. Impressive, isn't it? Such demolition is carried out under strict supervision of engineers and complies with all safety standards. No one invented a time machine, you just got into the set of a Wild West movie. Like, if you would dare to ride like this too. After such extreme experiences, a feeling of triumph and euphoria arises. Blasting ice on the river in spring prevents a sharp rise in water and flooding of houses. The toxin of this jellyfish causes burns comparable to dozens of wasp stings. A good harvest, mushrooms absorb heavy metals and radioactive substances like a sponge. Stones sink, definitely, but not during repeated cycles of freezing and thawing. Incredible, but flying fish can glide up to 400 meters in one go. This African mantis is a master of disguise as a flowering plant.
To be honest, I'm speechless after witnessing it. What about you?
Birds that lay blue eggs are song thrushes or cuckoos. This rainbow in the sea, of course, is smaller than the heavenly rainbow from rain. The color of such beautiful pebbles directly depends on the mineral composition. Such a number of fountains relieves any depression. On the other hand, sticking snow is not dangerous icicles. Such a landscape only emphasizes the beauty and eternity of nature. Sometimes the cold can create amazing and very spectacular moments. This is how, due to the shockwave and gas emission, a cloud of dust rises. But suddenly, the roll bursts. A huge steel strip flies apart in different directions like a compressed spring. In the pitch darkness of the night, gunshots suddenly rang out. Fiery tracers tore through the sky, turning silence into a combat zone. This rifle was not designed for ordinary shootouts, but for destroying lightly armored vehicles and fortifications. Its power is so great that every shot requires maximum concentration and a perfect position from the sniper. Sometimes a single shifted stone is enough to awaken an entire mountain. They glow as if there is a small, starry sky inside them. At the intersection, it's not a regular police officer working, but a real robot.
It was so cool! It's hard to comprehend how this is even possible.
Such lighting helps to relax and prepare for a deep, restful sleep. People on the street initially thought the car was on fire, but a second later it became clear it was a spectacular LED panel turning the vehicle into a real light show. A creative and unusual approach in sports, but it is a pleasure to watch. It seems we are looking at a prototype of technology that could change the familiar look of cars. A clear example of such a phenomenon. This is what paradise for a computer gamer looks like. I wonder if the roof was even designed for this. This is one of the most exciting places in a Japanese oceanarium. Visitors can descend into a special glass capsule right in the center of a huge tank where predatory fish and other marine inhabitants rush around them at tremendous speed. This is the result of icing on the contact wire. This train in Japan has turned into a real ice monster. And the coolest part is these things. Look! Oops! An unusually large birdhouse, since usually most birds occupy a nest as a pair. Legend has it that a fearsome dragon that demanded sacrifices settled in Dragon's Eye Lake. That very golden hour before sunset. Beautiful, right? This is what it looks like when a cloud slowly covers a peak and creates a very unusual scene. Drop by drop, ice builds higher and higher until an entire icy mountain forms. Sometimes winter can create real natural sculptures right in the middle of the street. A huge chunk of ice breaks off from an iceberg and crashes into the water.
Get off the beach!
Sometimes the ocean creates such unusual patterns as if someone underwater is drawing huge lines right in the water. Predators in the ocean consume their prey in a fraction of a second. Looking at this 4-meter giant weighing half a ton, it's hard to believe that dinosaurs are extinct. This long tail is not for beauty, but a deadly weapon that works like a real whip. It feels like they are already ready to settle on land.
And how do you like such a twist? To be honest, I can't do without your comments here.
Zeus clearly dislikes someone on this plane. Why do firefighters set forests on fire themselves? To stop a catastrophe. A controlled burn removes fuel for the main fire, creating a protective barrier. Sunken ships are an ideal shelter, protection from predators, a place to find food. This is how air effectively flows from a high-pressure zone to a low-pressure zone. Although this is a dense layer of the atmosphere, the rocket burns for another reason. Here's who really controls electricity. It seems SpaceX has a serious competitor. The vertical landing of a Chinese rocket is a historic moment for the entire industry. I wonder how brave you have to be to dare to dive there.
Golly. Look at all of them.
Underwater, he can swim several dozen miles until he reaches his goal. And he gets a beautiful view as a bonus to his job. A powerful landslide literally engulfs the backyard of a private property. The footage shows a massive layer of earth along with a fence and outbuildings collapsing downward, leaving the residential house right on the edge of a
Gosh,
cliff.
it's getting bigger.
The ground's moving. Look at that.
The tree's going.
Whoa, there it
The
goes.
whole fence is sliding in.
This isn't.
In the evening, a bright glow appears over the sea. For a moment, it seems as if a huge fiery sphere has ignited on the horizon. Below are roads and fields, and ahead, the wire stretches straight into the horizon.
If you haven't liked this episode yet, now is the best time to do it.
It looks almost like an ice sculpture, beautiful but very cold.
Das ist nicht normal. Das sind die.
Oh, look at that. Like this. Just you listen.
Whoa, that look at
You want me to drop your jig? Oh, shoot. What the heck is this? Oh, whales. Oh, my God.
Oh my god!
Sometimes all it takes is a glance down from a boat to see how vast and mysterious the ocean is.
Holy Boy, that was crazy.
This is what the typhoon that hit one of China's airports looked like. Do you think anyone managed to take off? Undoubtedly, such service will attract customers, but who controls the drone? This snowdrift does not reach the record height of 11.8 meters. If fish swim in a funnel, then there are marine predators somewhere nearby. A tree with a double trunk is not uncommon, but not with such a bridge at the height of the trunks. Knowing the law of refraction of light well, one can create such illusions. This is not something to film, but to run away from the house as far as possible.
Before watching similar videos, it would be great to buy some sedative pills. One needs nerves of steel here.
There are many plants whose smell attracts these flies.
呀，这都是啥东西耶？我的妈妈，可了。
Yes, this plant is well taken care of and fertilized. A clear example of the dew point temperature when air turns into fog. The remaining tree sap in the tree attracts many. Don't be afraid, everything is fine with this air transport. These pests, so to speak, destroyed the tree by covering it with a dense web. Dangerous maneuvers, the B-2 approaches the tanker at a distance of about 10 meters during refueling. Municipal services with such a method of snow removal would go bankrupt. Such sagging formations on the head are not a deviation, but a variety of Indian buffalo. Cheerful performances, but for the killer whale, it is captivity.
There are things that are absolutely impossible to believe, and how could this even happen?
This is what an engineering solution in the fight against building wind load can look like. He was still lucky that the excavator cabin protects from water.
哇，震撼吧，这样震撼吧？啊！
It is strange that from a small wind, the structure collapsed like a house of cards. The worst nightmare of a digger, an explorer of underground communications, looks something like this. But in fact, it is just a way to show how calm the horse is. Oh my god, it's the size of a golf ball. It's just smashing everything around. Is this an aquarium? And there are fish swimming in it? Wow! Usually stones sink, but in this lake, the rules seem to work differently. Looks like Elsa visited him yesterday. A trap without color or smell. Carbon dioxide here completely displaces oxygen, so anyone can simply suffocate inside. Such fireworks in the form of different figures are a technically complex and expensive process. It looks like someone decided to surround the city with a large, smooth, and dark wall.
是天，像一座大山脉一样。
Modern art can truly amaze. The combination of sports with show business makes the event interesting even for those who are not avid fans. Still, living on the upper floors in such fog is more interesting than on the lower ones. Ice is not only fresh water, but also a building material for constructing slides and sculptures at festivals. Only on ice and in a small airplane can one spin like this. In this Brazilian airport, no one is in a hurry anymore after the flood. Almost all climbers have learned to control the fear of height.
What an incredible footage! We always strive to choose the best content for you.
Only roots deeply embedded in the ground can hold such a strange tree. Fog from water and the sun guarantee a beautiful rainbow. In windsurfing, speeds of up to 70 kilometers per hour can sometimes be reached. What you are seeing is one of the most massive fireworks displays. The explosion rises upward and blooms into a huge glowing cloud, lighting up the entire sky around it. Before you is a rare guest on modern railways, an operating steam locomotive. Despite the age of the technology, such locomotives still run on the tracks during special trips. And in the background, the wind is almost invisible. Stunning volcanic eruptions are what Guatemala is known for.
I was slowing that. I was slowing.
You won't believe it, but he just likes sharing. Just water, the sun, and nature paints a real rainbow right over the road. Did you know that Mercedes also produces trams? That case when a car sounds like a ready-made sample. Beatmakers, grab this whistle for your archives. It seems he's not very happy with his first attempt. I wonder how much time they spent to achieve such synchronization. And if you step on it or hit it, the ice shatters into thousands of these long needles. These penguins climbed onto an iceberg to escape a predator, but the block of ice suddenly began to flip over. It is capable of performing aerobatics that not every machine of this class can handle. This must be what real, carefree, doing nothing feels like, full beach integration and zero worries. This was actually captured on camera. Usually these racers burn rubber before a run to clean it and heat it up for a better grip, but this time something went wrong. And this is the Verrazano Bridge in New York, which literally dances during strong winds. It looks like an optical illusion, but details like this sometimes appear in surveillance footage and make people ask very strange questions. Yes, romance is relaxing. There's nothing to add here. This helicopter has one key feature: its tail rotor is completely enclosed inside the fuselage. People were simply filming a quiet lakeside landscape when suddenly a huge tree broke off from the shore. After a severe frost and humid weather, water gradually froze on the surface of the car. Layer by layer, a real icy shell formed, turning the vehicle into an ice sculpture. Her mood is just as light and breezy as her outfit. Hang in there, beauty. You wanted bright photos yourself. This hot air balloon flight was supposed to be an ordinary adventure, but a sudden gust of wind carried the balloon straight toward a tall tower. Before you is a rare natural phenomenon, a huge flock of birds moving as a single organism. Heavy machinery moves slowly, but does enormous work. How is it even possible to calculate something like this? Now the starfish needs to camouflage itself and bury it in the sand. Freight trains always have more cars than passenger trains. Manta rays have the largest brain-to-body ratio among all fish and possess high intelligence. X-Men and other mystical characters are only found in movies and games, and in the modern world, the most dangerous are people with unpredictable behavior. Something you definitely don't expect to see in a calm bay. A small monkey in a Japanese zoo was left completely alone. So that it wouldn't feel lonely, the staff gave it a stuffed toy. Now, in any unclear or frightening situation, it runs to its plush friend, seeking protection and warmth. A reason why arachnophobes should stay away from Australia. Interesting equipment attracts many. When nature shows its true power, a rock collapse that looks like a scene from a disaster movie. Peacocks are rightfully considered some of the most beautiful birds on Earth. Under the weight of snow in winter, trees experience extreme stress. This big guy is looking for another sheer peak to conquer. An extremely strange thunderstorm occurred in Argentina. Lightning struck all night, almost without stopping. The second before the inevitable, the crowd froze in horror, unable to believe their eyes.
And our episode has come to an end, and we hope that you enjoyed watching this video. We look forward to your questions and comments. Thank you for always being with us.